Right now on Denver 7 News at 7 o'clock on Local 3, it is not the start we wanted.
I mean, the reality was just we didn't get the ball in the end zone.
Simple as that. We're breaking down what went wrong in Seattle last night and why the Broncos faithful are still eyeing a playoff run.
Plus, a new experiment on deck in the metro for a basic income, how it could get people off the streets by giving them cash directly.
Plus, if you missed it while you were watching the Broncos, of course, the Emmys were last night celebrating the best in TV. So maybe you have some shows you now need to catch up on.
You know what was my favorite part, though? They got the whole old cast of the Brady Bunch together.
Oh, nice.
For a little appearance.
That. Yeah, that's great.
Fun to see them old now.
Yeah, I know. Wow. Well, thanks for joining us on this Monday. Or what are we on?
Tuesday. Yeah.
It's
the late night watching the game.
It was an Orange Monday.
Yeah.
Yes. Thanks for joining us. I'm Brian Sanders.
And I'm Nicole Brady. Lisa, we're gonna keep it positive all morning. Moving on after last night's loss with some nice weather today.
Still a Broncos sunrise. Yeah. I mean, Mother Nature's still a fan, but unfortunately a lot of the color that we're seeing here this morning is due to that wildfire smoke coming in from those western wildfires. You can see it there just lingering in the distance across parts of northeastern Colorado, where it's going to be a little bit hazier here. So expect a hazy, hot afternoon. We're going to be in the mid to upper 50s at the bus stop this morning. Dry conditions this afternoon, hitting highs right around 85 to near 90. So it will be warm as the kids are getting off the bus here this afternoon. Denver right around 90, Greeley 91. A little cooler out west, more clouds and more scattered showers developing here across the western slope. So we are going to see some wet weather there. We'll take a closer look at that and our chance for some rain here in town. It will be quite a bit cooler on Wednesday and wet. Details on that coming up.
And big delays, unfortunately, getting into downtown Denver from the south side. And it's all from this big wreck on the northbound side of I-25 right here at 6th Avenue. Take a look from Air Tracker 7. One of the pickup trucks involved in this thing is actually going the wrong way. You can see it spun around the wrong way. We have a couple other cars in there. And so we have also one over here to the side. Actually, that guy was stalled out back over here in that right lane. Finally, all lanes there are open. We have 2 lanes closed, 2 lanes open, and the traffic jam now, as you can see, goes all the way back to Broadway. So this is registering just from Broadway going up to I-70, 30 minutes in there, and that northbound side coming all the way from the Denver Tech Center, add another 10 minutes in there. So it's really solid from after University. You could try to use some of the side roads in downtown. Federal might be a better option for you, but there's a lot of traffic lights that aren't timed very well that will slow you down along Lincoln Street especially. The rest of the drive looks pretty heavy in some of those usual spots, but the big problem getting into across downtown on that northbound side.
Taking a live look this morning from Edinburgh, Scotland, where the Queen is lying in St. Giles Cathedral, so people can pay their final respects as the Royal Guard stands by. The leaders from around the world will soon come together in London for Queen Elizabeth's funeral at Westminster Abbey. Denver 7's Joe St. George explains why this could be prime time to strengthen international diplomacy.
President Biden leaves for the United Kingdom on Saturday in what is going to be a global television event, the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II on Monday morning. We've seen what the royal family does with weddings. We saw to some degree a funeral with Princess Diana so many years ago, but we've never really seen a funeral for a monarch like this. Hundreds of world leaders are expected to be in attendance. We can put on screen some of them, although quite frankly we'll need a bigger television screen and a bigger graphic to show you all of the world leaders that are committed. Again, hundreds are expected. The President of France, Prime Minister of Canada is expected. President of the United States, Joe Biden, will be there along with First Lady Dr. Jill Biden, the Emperor of Japan. We know President Putin of Russia not expected to be in attendance. It's unclear if the leaders from China and India will be in attendance. This is going to look a little bit like a United Nations event to some degree. A reception the evening prior to the funeral is expected to be hosted by King Charles III, a chance for global leaders to communicate on a variety of issues. One of Queen Elizabeth II's last great gifts to the world is an act of diplomacy to some degree. As you might suspect, this is a major security event. London officials are saying this will be the largest security event in the history of that city. And world leaders, according to Politico, may be bused to the event. They won't be able to all take their motorcades to the church. Could you imagine the President of the United States on a bus? We'll continue to follow it as we continue to honor Queen Elizabeth II. In Washington, I'm Joe St. George.
We had a couple opportunities. I mean, they were there. We just got to capitalize on them, and we didn't.
You know, it just didn't go our way. But guess what? There's 16 more games to go, and there's a lot more football to play.
Moving forward this morning, a mix of hope and disappointment, though, after the tough loss to Seattle last night. There was so much hype going in. It came down to the last second. The Broncos fell to the Seahawks by 1. Russell Wilson's anticipated return to Seattle, missed opportunities, fumbles on the goal line, multiple penalties, and then kicker Brandon McManus had a chance to win the game with a personal record-length 64-yard field goal. He barely missed it, and the Seahawks escaped with a 17-16 win. So while the Broncos regroup today and replay everything from last night, fans are also weighing in on the first impressions of the new team.
Maybe we should have let them settle with it for a little bit before we ask them, but here's Denver 7's Jason Grenauer in Seattle.
You can sum up how a lot of Broncos fans were feeling as they left Lumen Field after that Monday night performance by simply saying, it was sadness, it was frustration, it was disappointment. In some cases, it was even anger for fans who made the trip in from Colorado, who came from this large fan base that the Broncos have here in the Pacific Northwest, all to come to Lumen Field to watch what the Broncos ultimately put out there as a final result. We spoke to Michael from Denver, who probably put it best.
Awful start, terrible penalties. The Broncos did all the things that you're not supposed to do in the first half, like you're just not supposed to do. The false start penalties, turnovers, 2 fumbles on the goal line. Russ looked unsettled. He didn't look comfortable the whole game. Everything was off.
So many fans that we spent the weekend with were excited for this new era of Broncos football, for Russell Wilson's homecoming, for a statement to be made on primetime TV, only to be left with a very bitter pill to swallow. Mike went on to say, yeah, there's some optimism about the future, but man, this one just hurt. Reporting from Seattle, I'm Jason Grenauer, Denver 7.
All right, maybe if you were in enemy territory, you had
Right.
one opinion, but fans here at home are staying optimistic.
Yeah, the season didn't start the way we wanted, but we have 16 games to go, and Broncos country has its eyes on the postseason.
I feel like we're going to at least make the playoffs, if not go to the Super Bowl, babies.
I feel like we're going to the Super Bowl.
No doubt.
No doubt. We are undefeated till we ain't. We need more of these rings right here. Obviously, Super Bowl 57 will be the crowning jewel for the season.
Those were just a couple of the fans watching last night's game at Breckenridge Brewery in Littleton. We are going to hear about some improvements the team can make for Sunday against the Texans in our next half hour.
Well, a memorial service is now in the works for an Arvada police officer killed in the line of duty Sunday. Officer Dylan Vakoff was 27 years old. The Colorado Fallen Hero Foundation is organizing the event. Investigators now say 31-year-old Sonny Almanza is the man who shot and killed Officer Vakoff while he was responding to a large family disturbance near 51st and Marshall. Almanza now faces several charges, including first-degree murder.
New this morning, Denver will join a growing number of cities experimenting with what's known as a basic income, and it's what it sounds like, giving people direct cash. Denver 7's Christian Lopez joins us. So, Christian, who can get the money and who's giving it out?
Yeah, the city is trying out a new plan to help, so they'll be giving money directly to a group of homeless people to help get them off the streets and into housing, and ultimately see how this all impacts their lives over the course of a year. The city will be using $2 million in COVID relief money. They'll be partnering with the Denver Basic Income Project, giving people up to $1,000 a month. Right now, 820 people are in the program, and this new cash investment will support 140 of them who are currently living in shelters. In order to get that money, they cannot have untreated mental health or substance abuse issues. This is all aimed at helping them move into stable housing, provide support so they can stay housed while also opening up space in shelters. And the program will be evaluated to see how this impacts housing outcomes, the use of shelters, and how it helps with mental health issues. Other cities that have tried this pilot are seeing really good results so far. things like more food security and more people getting jobs. City leaders in Denver are really hoping that this will be effective here as well. We're live in Denver this morning. I'm Christian Lopez, Denver 7.
Thank you, Christian. One of the reasons there's talk about a basic income is that housing costs are so high in Denver. So we wanted to go a little deeper on the cost of living here. We have a new statewide housing report just out this morning, and we're uncovering some things both buyers and sellers will want to hear. Let's start with those all-important prices. The median sales price for a single-family home fell for the fourth straight month to $570,000. That's the statewide median. That's down $30,000 from the record high 4 months earlier. The Colorado Association of Realtors calls it a significant drop, and it means sellers have to price right.
Pricing for that high dollar is just not the game we're playing right now, right? And so pricing for a more competitive sale, maybe not pricing at above 100% of what it's worth. Inventory is going up. So if you want to be the most attractive property on the market, where say there's a lot of competition, you also want to be the best price.
If you can't afford to buy right now or can't afford rent in Denver, there is another option. The Denver Housing Authority offers housing vouchers and discounted housing. There's a process to it, though. Officials told me it starts with a lottery this week. What are people applying for?
So they're actually just entering their name to get a lottery ticket, and there usually are about 20,000 people who enter, and there's about 500 to 1,500 people who will be drawn from that, right. And then about 500 vouchers will be issued. And what that means is that 500 people out of that pool of 500 to 1,500 will actually get a voucher to get a subsidized home.
So there is a chance, but there are 3 things you need to know. You have to apply online. The window opens at 12:01 a.m. Thursday and closes at 11:59 p.m. Friday. To qualify, a single person has to make less than $36,700 a year. For a family of 4, it's $52,400 a year. You can learn more on the Denver Housing Authority's website.
As thousands in the UK pay their respects to Queen Elizabeth, there are now concerns about King Charles' leadership ability and how he'll be able to keep the Commonwealth united.
Also, filling up at the gas pump could get more expensive again. The looming strike that could bring supply chain to a halt.